What if I told you the biggest reason you're stuck right now isn't your talent, isn't your background, isn't your intelligence, it's the way you think about yourself? Two people can experience the exact same failure, same rejection, same mistake, same outcome, but their futures? Completely different. One person looks at that moment and thinks, I knew it, I'm not good enough. So they stop trying, they pull back, they play it safe. The other person, they look at the same situation and say, I'm not good enough yet. And that one word yet changes everything. Because one person sees failure as a verdict, the other sees it as feedback. One protects their ego, the other builds their future. And over time, that small difference in thinking creates a massive gap in results. So if you've ever felt stuck, like you're trying but not moving forward, like something just isn't clicking, it might not be your effort, it might be your mindset. And today, we're breaking down exactly how that hidden pattern is holding you back and how to change it, starting now. Welcome to Mindset Bloom, where growth isn't rushed, it's built from the inside out. This isn't about working harder, it's about thinking differently. Because once you change how you think, you change how you act. And once you change how you act, your entire life follows. Let's slow everything down for a moment, because what I'm about to tell you might quietly explain a lot of things in your life. There are two types of people in this world. Not rich or poor, not smart or unintelligent, not confident or insecure, but something far more important. People with a fixed mindset and people with a growth mindset, and the difference between these two ways of thinking can decide whether someone stays stuck for years or slowly builds a completely different life. Let's start with the fixed mindset. A fixed mindset sounds like this. My abilities are set. I am either good at something or I'm not. This is just who I am. So when life gets difficult, it doesn't feel like a challenge. It feels like a judgment. Failure doesn't say, you need more practice. It says, you are not good enough. And that changes everything. Because once failure becomes personal, you don't just feel disappointed. You start to feel defined by it. So what happens next? You avoid situations where you might fail. You stop trying things that feel uncertain. You choose comfort over challenge, not because you're lazy, but because you're protecting how you see yourself. Now let's look at the other side. A growth mindset sounds completely different. I can improve. I can learn. I can get better with effort. Same situation, same difficulty, same failure, but a completely different interpretation. Because in a growth mindset, failure is not a label, it's information, not, I'm not good enough, but what can I learn from this? Not, this proves I can't do it, but this shows me what to improve. And that small shift changes everything, because one mindset makes failure feel like an ending, the other makes it feel like a step. Same moment, different meaning, different future, and that is where life quietly splits. How your mindset is holding you back. Now here's where things get uncomfortable. Because most people think they have a growth mindset, they agree with the idea, they like the concept, they even say the right things, but their behavior tells a different story. Let's look closer. Do you avoid tasks you're not good at? Do you give up quickly when something feels hard? Do you compare yourself to others and feel behind? If yes, that's not just lack of discipline. That's a fixed mindset showing up in real time. Because here's what's happening underneath. When you believe your abilities are limited, you don't try to grow them. You try to protect them. So instead of stepping into challenges, you step away. Instead of risking failure, you avoid it. Instead of learning through discomfort, you choose familiarity. And slowly, your life becomes smaller than your potential. Not because you can't grow, but because you believe, deep down, that growth is not really possible for you. And that belief is powerful, because what you believe, you eventually act on, and what you repeatedly act on becomes your reality. Why failure is your advantage. Now let's completely reframe failure, because most people misunderstand it. A fixed mindset sees failure as a stop sign, something that says, stop, you're not good enough. But a growth mindset sees failure very differently. It sees it as a signal, not a judgment, not a final result, not a reflection of identity, just information, a signal that says, adjust, try again, learn something here. Think about anything you're good at today. You weren't always good at it. At the beginning, you were slow, uncomfortable, uncertain. You made mistakes. You got things wrong. You probably felt like quitting, but you didn't stop there. You kept going. You adjusted. You improved. And now it feels normal. That's not talent. That's repetition under a growth mindset. And that process is the same for everything. No one skips it. No one bypasses it. No one avoids it. You either go through it, or you stay at the beginning. How to build a growth mindset. So how you actually shift this, not in theory, but in real life. 1. Change your language. Start noticing the words you use. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. That one small word changes everything, because it adds time to your identity. It creates space for growth. Seek challenge, not comfort. If something feels difficult, that's not a warning. That's a signal. It means you're in the right place to grow. So instead of avoiding it, lean into it. 3. Focus on effort, not just results. Most people obsess over outcomes, but growth doesn't live in results. It lives in effort repeated over time. Show up, try again, keep going, even when it feels slow. Learn from feedback. Don't treat feedback like rejection. Treat it like direction. Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because feedback is not an attack, it's data. Stay consistent. Mindset doesn't change in a moment. It changes through repetition. Small actions, repeated daily. That's how thinking patterns are rebuilt. What this means for your life. Here's the truth. You're not stuck because you lack ability. You're stuck because of how you interpret your experiences. Because every challenge you face, you assign meaning to it. You either decide, this proves I can't do it, or this is part of learning. And that decision is shaping your life more than you realize. Because one interpretation keeps you in place, the other moves you forward. And the only difference between the two is how you think. That's it. And once you see that clearly, you start to realize something powerful. Your future is not fixed. It's still being written. By the way you think, starting now. So here's what I want you to take from this. Stop treating your current ability like it's your final version. You are not fixed. You are not finished. You are not limited to where you are right now. You are still becoming, still learning, still in motion. And the moment you start thinking like that, everything shifts. Because suddenly, failure isn't proof you can't do it. It's proof you're learning how. So today, don't overthink it. Pick one thing you've been avoiding because it feels difficult, and do it anyway. Not perfectly, just honestly. Because that's where change actually starts. This is Mindset Bloom, where you don't just grow, you become.